Okay, obviously these drills are in no particular order because depending on what drill the player goes to first, will decide which drill is first for him. Okay, the first drill we're looking at is angle tackle. It is 2 yards by 2 yards with the cones. The inside cones are 2 yards apart, which makes the cones that the players are at facing each other 4 yards apart. Now they're going to step toward in the same direction towards a cone. Okay, you have an offensive player and a defensive player. The offensive players are the ones wearing the arm pads, so that once they get tackled, form tackled, okay, it eliminates some of the bruising. But you can still do this without the arm pads with minimal pain. Okay, as you can see here, the defensive player takes a step, he freezes. That's a very important coaching point. That both of them take the big step and freeze. That's why the cones are so close. Later in the circuit, you'll see the cone set up twice as far and a couple of steps taken. They'll freeze again and then they'll shoot through. Okay, the purpose is to get into tackling position and then tackle. Okay, this is a shot of coach correcting a couple of the guys here. First day of spring, this particular video was taken. Okay, the offensive guy needs to step and turn towards the same cone that the defensive player had left from. He needs to get in the lane of the defensive player, partly just to reduce the risk of him getting hurt during the form tackle. Okay, so it's step, face that original cone, get in the lane. Now you coach up the stance. Okay, holster the hands, get your elbows close to you, and then shoot up, grab some cloth. That's a pretty good job there. Okay, of grabbing cloth and shooting through. Eyes are at the numbers, actually a little bit lower. So we got next here. Okay, that's a good job at shooting through, shooting straight up. Eyes at the number, hands were holstered. Not bad by a pretty good sized guy. Okay. Next up, step, freeze. Okay, get correction from the coaches. All the good coaching points. Elbows close to your body, hands holstered. Okay, positive shin angles, Z's in the knees. For some of you guys, just means bend the knees and shoot through. Okay, always shooting up. Okay, and you can see at full speed the reps. Okay, remember to freeze, guys. You guys have to have these guys freeze so you can talk and coach them up, especially early in the season. Later on, the freeze will be just a split second, but the guys will be used to it. Next we see here, same drill pretty much, angle tackling. Okay, offensive guys wearing the arm pads, getting over to the cone and facing the defender. Okay, you get over there, you freeze, but this is now taking a couple of steps. Okay, most running backs aren't going to run to the defender. They're going to run away from him. Okay, this is part of the pursuit aspect of it. You're keeping leverage now. You're always leveraging out. If you're head up on a running back, he's got two directions he can go. Okay, if you take away the inside, he only has one way to go, which is the outside. Push him to the boundary while everyone is pursuing. Okay, so we're maintaining leverage here. Good coaching point. Okay, focusing on the near shoulder. Get to the cone, freeze. Get in hip position. Offensive player holds up the bags, waits to be tackled. Okay, this could be considered building on the progression, but depending on where you start in the circuit, this may come before you do the 2-yard by 2-yard cone drill. Okay, next up, this is going to look like the same drill, but it's a little bit more about footwork. Okay, so this is a little bit farther apart. We'll see. You can do the stations however you want, up to 10 yards apart, 20 yards apart with the cones. Okay, we're doing a little bit more footwork here, getting to the cone and freezing. Actually, this drill is without the freeze. Okay, it is a progression, and throughout the season, as from spring training to the first day of practice, heck, to the end of the season, okay, they are progressions. Doesn't matter where you start in the circuit. Okay, but this looks like 5 yards by 5 yard cones. Okay, without freezing at all. Okay, the offensive guys are assisting the defensive players by hopping up a little bit right before they get tackled, just to reduce the amount of injury. We don't need to lose guys to learn how to tackle. You can learn how to tackle without losing any guys. Okay, next drill is called the bounce drill. You'll notice the player's feet are shuffling. This is really good for linebackers or people trying to pursue to somebody, trying to go to their outside. Okay, this is another freeze drill. Okay, the feet don't really come off the ground. It's bounce, bounce, freeze. Okay, so these cones are probably 3 yards apart. These cones are about 3 yards apart. Freeze. Boom. Get your face in his numbers. Shoot up. Okay, that's a pretty good job by a tall guy, getting his eyes at the numbers, keeping his hands holstered, his elbows in, and shooting through. Next drill, depending on how many coaches you've got, how many guys you've got. You want to keep your groups under 10, okay, at all as often as possible, so you can get the maximum number of reps. The repetitions will equal muscle memory, which will make tackling much easier for your guys. It makes it less of a toughness skill and more of a technique skill. What you got to have in every tackle circuit is a takeaway drill. Okay, there's a popsicle drill. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't have a popsicle, you need to get one. Most programs I've seen have at least a popsicle. You know, if you don't tackle it correctly, okay, these things have been around a long time, guys. If you don't tackle it correctly, it's not going to go down. Okay, it forces you guys to keep low, shoot the hips through, use their hands, squeeze with their head in the direction that they're trying to tackle it. Okay, this guy here does a pretty good job. It's early in the season, like I said. This is the first day of spring. Okay, so we can do a little bit better job of this, but that's what the popsicle does. It's like a mirror. It will show you how you look in terms of as a tackler. Okay, it's a pretty good job shooting his hips through, turning that big heavy thing over. Okay, if you don't have a popsicle, get one. Next, takeaway drill needs to be in every leverage circuit, every tackle circuit. Okay, if you got 5 drills, you need 4 leverage drills and a takeaway drill. If it's a tackle circuit and it's 5, you need 4 tackling drills and a takeaway drill. That way, every day, 10 minutes a day, 5 days straight, your kids learning takeaways. That's better than spending team time for 30 minutes on a team takeaway drill. Teach it to them a little bit at a time. Let them digest it. It becomes part of their muscle memory. If you teach them 1 day a week, takeaway drill as a team, they're not going to remember it. They're not going to use it in the game, and you'll be losing in the takeaway category. Okay, this one is simply chase from behind, reach with one arm, slap with the other. Chase from behind, reach with one arm, try to tear it out. Important coaching point here is before you try to tear it out, you need to be close enough to get your hands on the ball. Okay? Anytime you tackle anybody, you need to be close enough to step on his foot or smell his breath. If you're farther than that, you're going to be lunging. If you're lunging, you have no power. If you have no power, you're not tackling anybody good. Okay? This is a nice face-to-face drill where you pair up and simply work on shooting through, grabbing cloth, squeezing the elbows. The focus of a drill like this, okay, if you got big groups and you can have this many stations, is simply standing in front of a man, getting your eyes at the right level, shooting through, grabbing cloth. You need to have a fistful of cloth. You need to be able to feel it in there. Okay? This is a low impact drill. It's a nice break for the guys. Okay, now you need to notice that the offensive player has his hands up under his chin, okay, to keep himself safe. Okay, if his hands are lower and they're away from his body, they're just going to get smacked right into his face. Okay, we don't need to hurt anybody to learn tackling. Okay, if they do it safe, you teach it to them slow. Your first tempo is walk through. You demonstrate it for them. Okay, you can eliminate the opportunity for people to get hurt. We got the eyes here. Right at the numbers, if not a little bit lower. Okay, the elbows are right next to the body, the hands are holstered, and it's simply shoot up. This is going to help later in the drills where they got to freeze first. They get to the cone, they freeze, they're going to be in this exact position. All these drills maybe not build on each other, but they all complement each other very well. Okay, coach it up, get in there, attention to the details, especially early guys. You can't speak in general terms and then try to pay attention to the details the week before the big game of the season. Okay? Start early with the details. It may seem like it's too much. They may give you some glazed look, but it'll sink in. That's why the consistent language and all the coaches using the same consistent positive language is very important when running drills. And nothing's more important to a defensive unit than tackle.